Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, today we are off to Southern Europe, not just for the map, but for the asset as well. Although, unfortunately, we haven't been able to tie the two things 100% together. It's lovely when we get the actual two countries to match up perfectly, but it's just a random throw of the dice. I'm actually not entirely sure whether we are in Spain or Portugal today. My Googling brings up Portugal, but my head tells me Spain because it's kind of Armesto territory, I feel, probably a little bit. But anyway, regardless, we are in Southern Europe one way or another. It's a very accomplished map when you consider...
It's my first map.
That's right. There are a few oopsie mistakes, but all told, I think you're going to be very impressed with today's work. And if you're going to be impressed, you might as well show some kind of approval. That's right, being approval is a good way of proving things. I feel approved when you approve of me. Thank you for your support. How you can do that though? Anyway, today's map is La Enseada da Bogalleira, Galician Bay by the L train. Right? Okay. I'm not going to say that too often. Can I just stick with Galician Bay for now? Yeah, I might try the full title by the end. There's your start square. Beautiful from above. Absolutely beautiful. Just enough buildable area there as well. Across the map, it's playable. It looks hillier than it is hilly. Does that make any sense? Resources are strong, used for painting, but are strong and accessible. And if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, the fishing map is okay. You know, it's okay. It's not always about what fish you get though, is it? Off to the workshop. Oh, what do we need? Well, it's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. And a nicely written description. Oh, there is a one-click collection we'll be having a look at the moment. A lot of trees on the map. You will be needing a tree and a key today. Not a big problem, to be fair with you. And the one-click collection is as follows. Now, it's fairly weighty. I know as a few of you will be thinking, oh, why do we need so many things? There's all sorts of maps for all sorts of people. Okay, there are a few things on here that aren't strictly needed, like Find Road and a key. Move It will be listed. Intersection marking tool you don't strictly need. Loading screen mod, which you should be using anyway, but it's listed as a... So there are some things on here, and I haven't checked to see if there are some redundant items. Rotterdam, beautiful, beautiful mod. But strictly, is it needed? Well, you could say yes. You could say yes. Every mod, is it needed? But is it strictly needed for this map? There are arguments to say that that list could be contracted. Yes, we could do that. We could contract. There are maybe, possibly, haven't checked. The longer the list gets, the more time it takes to do, and so therefore, yeah, I skim over. But there may be one or two assets, roads or whatever that aren't needed, possibly. But there are definitely a few mods in there which are strictly non-essential for them. So it makes me think that maybe there might be some assets as well. Anyway, the map is very lovely. It is very lovely. I am looking at this with a great deal of joy and glee. I've always known as Gloy and G. Oh my word. So anyway, yes, I'm looking at I had a lot of fun with this one. There are one or two beginner mistakes, and you're allowed to make but you don't make mistakes at the beginning. How are you going to learn? Okay. They were actually very ambitious with this map, and it's an ambitious map. That's our first intersection marking tool in operation. You may have noticed little junctions there, all very prettily done, and we'll be heading back maybe to this one, maybe to another one a bit later on, because there's some stuff I want to show you, which is just impressive work with the intersection markings. Okay, again, if you don't have the intersection marking tool, that's fine. If you're running potato, it's fine. Everything will still work. Your map will still load. You just won't be... you won't have all the extra bonus bits and bobs that have been put lots of time and effort put into, but they just won't show up. It'll be fine. But yes, they've been very ambitious in terms of when we get to have a look at the rivers and the streams, and there's some effort's gone in. And people look at me as like the wizard of the water, I guess, because I've made a tutorial on how water works, and I do kind of understand how it works. Next intersection, it's a bridgey thing going on here. A little bit of tailback on this one. Which will only get worse as the map gets rolling. Also some trees clipping through the underside of the flyover here. But all told, this is probably how it works in real life, with a little bit of tailback going on, I imagine. Also a little bit of some weird sort of glitching with the little grass triangle going on there. I don't know what's causing that. I haven't had time to go back and deconstruct the map. Maybe that's something I can do in a What's Map extra for the BonBonB buddies later on. Maybe I might put a little pin in that one as something to explore. Well, anyway, yes. In terms of the water, it looks like there might be a little bit of a shark's tooth going on there, just a little bit of one, but it's fine. Anyway, yes. In terms of the water, there's some stuff on it, and we will come back to this little section later on. I want to show you this in a bit. There's good stuff and bad stuff on this, and so we'll come back and have a look at that. I'll say bad stuff, one bad stuff. Loads of good stuff, one bad stuff. Focus on the good stuff, guys. Entering the start square at this location. Most of your buildable spaces by the marshland there, those fields there. We've got some hills which are accessible, if not really super buildable. And of course you can do some land reclamation with the marshland if that's what you want to do. Right, so yes, in terms of the ambition with the water, there's stuff on here. In fact, there is stuff on here I wouldn't have even tried, because I know how hard it is to make it work. We're also following the rail simultaneously now, so I don't think we need to follow the rail separately. Slightly floating, non-conforming, terrain-conforming cluster of trees. Love that little set of trees. I used them multiple times in previous maps, but yeah, and a splash of blue mantle right there. Ooh, half a star gone just for that alone. But yes, the non-terrain conforming trees will do that. Always got to be very careful with them. But yeah, super ambitious with the rivers. Stuff I wouldn't have tried because I know how hard it is to actually make it work. And unfortunately, being my first mapper, it hasn't actually worked. But we'll have a look at that again. You're not going to cry too many tears over it. It's one of those things that we learn, and we look and learn. Look at the beautiful. Anyway, heading off towards the edge of the maps. Do you know what? We'll take a brief intermission. Hopefully this will work. And so back to the shipping routes at Galician Bay. We'll go for the full title at the end of the show if I can get my tongue around it. Shipping route is fine. It does loop into the bay, the harbour area and back out, meaning every ship, dummy ship or not, will come out and loop around and loop back, which I think with the cruiser is okay because it's kind of like a scenic thing. You know, let's go and have a quick look at the harbour and then sail back out. But with any cargo ships that do that, it will look a little bit on the ugly side. So maybe just a dead end into there would have been fine, you know. Water flow in the start square, there really isn't any. There's a little bit of motion there, but that is refilling evaporation. But it's a long waterfront, so you probably can make it work for not polluting your population. But just have a little look at it as you're building, just to be sure. The map as a whole, even the boring areas aren't boring. Not super flat in many areas, but again, not so hilly in some areas that you can't get into them and do some building. Good tree coverage. I mean, we've got 1 million trees. There's a very good tree coverage. So yes, you do need tree anarchy for this one. It's not a vanilla style map. But again, good tree coverage, and they feel well done as well. I mean, seriously, very nicely done. Okay, here's that intersection that I said had one bad thing on it. One bad thing, one thumbs down, lots of thumbs up with this. The rail, have a look at the rail. It cuts through, it looks like it was put down with anarchy switched on. And so that looks to me like an accident waiting to happen. But look at the intersection marking, look at the lane merging, look at everything else there. A little bit of grass glitching through on the underside of the rail, so maybe two down the road, maybe two downers. And again, look at the intersection marking all the way up to the bridge. I absolutely love all the work that's gone there, and I was just sad there were a couple of things to be negative about. Here, this bothers me. I'd like to see a retaining wall along that cliff, please, because that looks like it's crumbling away, and I wouldn't want to be driving along that road, no matter how slowly. That bothers me. Okay, now this is the water that I was talking about. We're using some of, it was Mick Welshman, wasn't it, who created the network rivers, and in theory these should be amazing. You can see how it works. It depends with the what thing you're using for the texture on the water. We can see underneath there some drowned trees because of it as well, but also there's no water running down it. And you go, well, maybe it's a dry season bonbon. Yeah, I will go with that one. That's not the reason though. It's just network rivers, to get them to work is a skill and an art. And while I love the concept and I love the quality of them, I don't feel they're, personally, for me, just me, I don't feel they're worth the amount of effort you put into them, because frankly you can do almost as well with a freehand river in about the same amount of time. It looks like it should be a time saver, and it most often isn't. My opinion, and I'm happy if you are happy with the asset themselves. A little bit of obviously a problem there. In terms of rivers, the freehand rivers, however, we've also got some issues. Water flow is a tough thing. I'll try to remember to link in the water tutorial later. Well, maybe now. How about that? How about now? Or some point I'll link in the water tutorial for today's show, because a few of you might benefit from this. Anyway, got some pixelization of the river along here, where it's just like a bit jagged, and then it's very straight, and it just doesn't look right. Straight rivers virtually never happen. They do happen, but they virtually never happen. And so a little bit of a little bit of work to that river. Maybe spawning the water a little bit closer to where it starts bending might be the answer. We've got some lovely switchbacks. As I say, there's lots of great work on this map. This is some of said great work. Yeah, I'm making it sound like the map is awful. It really isn't. I'm just picking out the talking points, and mostly the talking points. Oh, hang on, the textures on the Laviante 2.0 on the cliff and sand kind of tiles a bit, and even close in, that isn't the prettiest. So it's again, you can use it to effect. I don't think it's been used to effect that well there. And I'm not sure what's going on with these roads on the edge. Maybe this is like a village or something down in this part of the world. I'm not entirely sure. I've not checked the real life map, but it doesn't connect to anything. But it's all right. This down here I don't mind too much. These are more of those network river ditch type things, and this is more used for detailing, and also a little bit of suspension of disbelief going on here. I don't mind this. So you've got the ditch down there, and it just breaks the land up. It doesn't probably connect up at each end, but again, the way that it's been done, I don't feel that it actually needs to. You can imagine that there's a little tunnel feeding the water through there, and then it feeds out to the bay, but it doesn't quite feed out to the bay, and actually I think that's the way that that should have been done. So that is exceptional. I'm really happy with that. It's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Oh, we haven't had a look at the swampy area. You know, you could reclaim some of this land. I don't see any issue with that one. And it could be a very interesting start square build. Pluses and minuses. And assets of the days. Today's asset of the day are from a different part of Southern Europe. This is a Paromlin Zagreb siloed dilapidated by ZgreenGaming. And factoids, because factoids is about this. Zagreb's Paromlim is one of Zagreb's most important monuments of industrial architecture. It was built from 1906 to 1908 and located on a vacant plot on the south side of the railway. The Zagreb Paromlim complex is one of the most important Croatian industrial complexes from the beginning of industrialization. And I dropped down in Google Earth, had a look at this. This looks pretty darn close, I tell you. The ZgreenGaming has done an absolutely blinding job with it, and it's just part of a big complex by the railway. I mean, where would you want it? If you didn't have this by the railway, where would you want it? Maybe out in the countryside, but where would you want it? Paromlim Zagreb silo dilapidated by ZgreenGaming. That is a big blocky silo thing, and it's a winner. Good job. But back to the good job of the day, and I'm going to say it's a good job. I was astounded by the quality of the map, especially after reading, it's my first map, mate. Okay, it's your first map, but you've done a great job. But that's my opinion. What's yours? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Click the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description that will take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple or a Patreon account. But what do I think of today's map? Well, I'm glowing. I'm glowing. It's a beauty. There's so much good work, and aesthetically it just draws you in. It doesn't feel like it's been overly done. It doesn't feel like it's been overdone, but plenty of effort has gone into it, and for me it's a very high 4 stars. Detailing, it feels like a 4-star map. It feels like a medium high 4-star map. We've got that splashy blue mantle, we've got lots of glitchy bits here and there, and unfortunately I think there's so many little minor issues like with the water flow and stuff that I got to go back down to 3 stars. But I'm going at the top end. I don't think we're very far from having a fully accomplished creator here. Gameplay potential, apart from the fact I'd have to fix up bits and pieces, I'm all over this one. I was going to go for a middle 4, but because there's so many, especially with the water, so many things to fix, I'm still going to go 4 stars. I'm going to go at the bottom end. So, yeah, very accomplished, few things to fix, and I want to play it. So, in that, you get a BonBonB seal of approval. It's not going to be for everybody, and fixing that water is, frankly, a challenge. And so... But then, it's not in the start square. It's far enough away that you can play the map without even noticing that there are any water issues. So, there is that. Yeah, there is that. Are you still here? Never for 1 second thought you wouldn't be. If you're still here, you can use the word of the day into the comments to prove you're part of the 20 and out elite. I will be back tomorrow with another map in the What's Map series. There are a lot of interesting maps this week. A lot of very interesting maps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.